This is Mary from First Makerspace, and today we are going to make a conductive bracelet. You're going to need one sheet of felt, conductive thread. It's found here in a bobbin, but we're going to put it through the needle later. One needle, one battery holder, a snap, an LED, and a battery for later. You'll also need a pair of scissors, as well as regular thread for this project. You won't need the regular thread now, so if you don't have any laying around the house, then all you'll need for this first step is the conductive thread. So the first step is to download the directions from Dreamc2. They can also be as part of the conductive sewing module. They can also be found on the Brown Dog Gadget website under conductive sewing. So first we're going to cut our sheet of felt in half in order to make the bracelet. And so I went ahead and just cut it in half. And next we're going to arrange the bracelet in order so that we create really a circuit. And when you're working with students to create a conductive bracelet, this is one of the pieces of content that you really can work through. In fact, this lesson is really great for family and consumer sciences because it brings in electricity and circuitry into an area that you wouldn't really traditionally think that you'd teach circuitry, which is facts. And so we're going to align the items in a way that we're going to create a circuit. So the thread is conductive and it's going to allow the electricity from the battery to travel from one place to another. And so we're going to lay out the bracelet. We're going to have the outie snap on this side. Next, we're going to have the battery holder with the positive sign up. Next, we're going to have an LED. Okay, so we've got a negative charge, positive, positive, LED, and then we'll have a negative all the way to the next snap, or the any snap, which is going to be on the other side of here. So next, I'm going to take my conductive thread and I'm going to unwind the bobbin. Maybe a little more. And I'm going to thread my needle. The needles that we provided should have had pretty large eye holes, and so they should be pretty simple to thread. You'll notice when you're handling this thread that it feels a little bit thicker than traditional thread too. Conductive sewing is one of my favorite things to do, and I'm just threading this needle over here on the side. For those of you who have no idea how to sew, I'll give you a quick trick. Not that I'm the world's sewing expert, but I am a family and consumer sciences teacher. That's my licensed area. So I'll give you a quick trick on how to tie the knot at the end. So if you just kind of tie it around, or hold it, pull it around your finger, and then twist. Oops, I didn't get it that time. This thread's a little thicker. Usually you can get a knot at the end, and this knot's going to be kind of thick, but that's okay. For beginning sewers, this is a great way. This is a great trick to teach them how to sew, to knot that knot at the end without it being too much of a pain. So this thread is a lot thicker than regular thread that you're used to dealing with, so just kind of be cautious of that. So we're going to thread one piece at a time, and so to kind of line yourself up, set your pieces off to the side to keep yourself organized. There we go. I lost my any step for a second. And so we're going to start here. In fact, I may rotate so that you can see me a little bit better, if possible. Here we go. So we're going to start with threading the snap. So I'm going to go underneath it. And if you have never sewn a snap before, this is really easy to do. You just go in and out. And so I'm going back all the way back to the beginning here. In fact, I'm going to go over that. So I'm going to go over it again just so that as it's being used over and over again, being snapped over and over again, it has the strength to kind of endure that. Okay, next. I'm going to connect it to the outie snap to the battery holder. And so I'm going to move that piece here so I can kind of see where I'm going here. And this is hand sewing, and so you can be generous with your stitches. You can make it decorative if you want. Go zigzag pattern. I'm just going to keep it simple. And try not to pull too tightly so that so it doesn't pull on the fabric. And once I sew in the battery holder, I'm going to actually disconnect the fabric, or the thread, and rethread my needle. And so I'm not going to keep going with the conductive thread. So I'm going to go ahead and go just a little bit farther because I have a little bit more thread. Okay, and then now I'm going to go ahead and get ready to thread it. And so to thread it, I'm just going to go right in between one of these large holes. These pieces are Crazy Circuit pieces from Brown Dog Gadget, and they actually fit inside of a Lego board, and so you can use these in many ways outside of just creating a snap or a conductive bracelet. The LEDs as well, and so they're very versatile. Just kind of as an FYI. And so I did that 3 times. I'm going to turn that over, and I got a little bit of it bunched. Not a big deal. I'm going to straighten that out a little bit. And then I'm going to go create kind of a over and then under, and kind of let that naturally tighten. Make sure it's nice and tight. Got a knot there, and then I'm going to snip it. And then I'm going to start over. I'm going to make sure that I should have enough here. So I'm going to restart. And let's see if I can do this backwards to kind of show you what this looks like on the other end. And so you can see, I'm just kind of pull this through, and I'm gonna do this piece 3 times to make it nice and tight. And this one is just a demonstration, so I'm not too terribly worried about keeping it straight or anything like that. There are all kinds of fun ways to decorate your bracelet. You can do that with additional pieces of felt, construction paper, glue, hot glue, and so additional pieces of fabric. Okay, and so I'm going to keep going here. I think I'll go down and then bring it back up. And the next stop is going to be the LED. I'm going to aim for it to be maybe right centered right here. I'm a little worried I'm going to run out of thread, but I think I'll be okay. And again, just down and up. And you have plenty of thread to do multiple projects. You only have one battery holder and one LED, but you can reuse those. So if you're interested in doing additional projects, you can also buy more of those pieces. This comes in its own set as well. So if you end up being interested in doing this project with your classroom, we have a set of sewing circuits that it's a classroom set, and we also have individual sets as well. And so it just kind of depends on what you're interested in doing, whether it's a station or whether it's a classroom activity. We can set you up with whatever would best suit your needs. We have lesson plans to go with it as well. And besides a conductive bracelet, which is really a starter activity, you can also make like a t-shirt or a sweatshirt that monitors heart rate, a fun light up sweatshirt like for a Christmas party. So if you've ever like an ugly sweater party at the end of during the holiday season, it'd be, what a fun maker thing to make your own, especially if you're the maker, teacher on staff. It'd be, you got to uphold that reputation and make your own sweatshirt, or not your own sweatshirt, but you can make your own, make it light up, take a sweatshirt and refurb it. So I'm going to cut it and pull it through. All right, and notice I stopped again, and I'm gonna restart on the other side of that LED. It's important not to let the electricity will naturally conduct through the battery and through the LED. And so I don't need too much thread for this last piece. And so I'm not gonna thread as much as I did at first. Is any extra we won't get to really reuse. My little trick there. And then I'm going to start underneath. And I'm wondering if I put the LED. Okay, I put it the correct way. Good. This does take a little longer than a paper circuit. One thing, if you are not sure, before you start sewing, you could also, if you wanted to, use maker tape and like a cardboard bag. So if you wanted to do this project with lower grade levels, but you didn't think, before students really have the hand-eye coordination to sew, although I think that they can really begin to sew at really young grade levels if we give them that opportunity. You can do this with maker tape, so conductive tape, same tape that you have in your kit, and cardboard bag, like a paper bag, or just paper, cardstock would work. And so I'm going to flip this over at this point. Notice this is my back end, and this looks a little bit messy. I'm going to hold down the snap, and so even though I'm putting this on a different end, it's important to keep in mind that this is going to be my good side. So I'm going to have to hide my ends carefully here. And I thought it had slipped off for a second. There we go. I'm gonna, just like the first one, I'm gonna go over this a few times. I wish I would have put it in just a little bit further, but if I move it just a little bit, I think we'll be able to get the same effect so that it won't slip off the felt accidentally. Okay, and I'm gonna just go over it one more time. And leave enough that I can cut and make a knot. Okay. That could probably be cleaned up a little bit, but and you're probably wondering, what about these pieces? So the rest of the battery holder and LED can be secured with regular thread. That's where the regular thread's going to come in. We don't want to use conductive thread because we don't want to continue the circuit up here. We want it to be a really straight circuit and connect really well. And so in order to connect my circuit, so my LED is not turning on yet. I'm going to troubleshoot this for just a second and investigate. First thing to do is always switch the battery. Although I think, pretty sure it's, yeah, I think it's on the right side. One thing with conductive thread is it needs to be really tight. I'm not sure if mine is tight enough. And so I'm gonna check into that for just a second and I will be right back. Okay, I have an update. After a little bit of troubleshooting, I discovered that I had the LED reversed. The negative end of the LED, which is the white end, should have been pointing towards the snap, and the positive end, which is the black end, should have been pointing towards the battery holder. And so I had it reversed when I started, and actually it should be up like this. So when I was trying to turn it on, it wasn't conducting electricity because it wasn't a full circuit. And so I think that's an important thing to note. Whenever you're making something, there are going to be times that you fail, there are going to be times that you mess up, and that's okay, especially as a facilitator, and even when you're teaching. It's okay to leave those in. I'm going to leave this in the video and not redo this because I think this is a teaching moment. And so and without further ado, voila. Okay. This is an LED that does change colors, which is kind of fun. You'll notice it's kind of, it's going in and out. That's because my, when I replaced the LED, I didn't redo all of the threading. One of the things that you'll notice, it's really loose. And so in order to make a true bracelet, you can fit it to the size of your wrist. And also something that I think I'm going to do to add some decoration is maybe do some zigzags as well, so that it's a more fun embellishment. And so that is the Conductive Bracelet. And this is for Mary Reinhardt from First Makerspace. I hope you enjoyed this project, and please post your creations in Dreamsy Do, and looking forward to see the different things that you guys come up with for your conductive bracelets. Thank you and have a great day.